Hey there, folks. It's Tony here, the Essence of Travel and Discoveries. Welcome to a beautiful Tuesday mid-morning. What a beautiful day it is. The sun's out, and as we were watching the weather while we were traveling, we had beautiful weather out west, but back here at home, the weather was not so nice. So the sun is very welcoming. Temperatures are a little bit cooler this morning, give you that fall-time crisp feel, and then they're slowly but surely they're rising and it's starting to get warmer out, but the sun is absolutely gorgeous. So very little clouds in the sky. So that is your weather report. So kind of tell you a little bit, recap a little what we are doing is that many of you know, and we've been posting on here, we had started filming phase 1 of Historic Route 20, which is titled America's Backbone, The Legacy of Route 20. And that took us from Buffalo to Casper, Wyoming, and from there, we went down and filmed in Aspen, Colorado, and in Denver, and then we came back up again. It was absolutely beautiful. We stopped at many places along the way of Historic Route 20, including in Rockford, Illinois, where the Rockford Peaches, the All-American Women's Baseball League, came from, started. It wasn't filmed there. The filming of the movie A League of Their Own was actually filmed in Chicago at Wrigley Field, and I believe it's Boss Stadium in Indiana. They had a couple different spots here. But the Rockford Peaches, it's based on a true story. So these are ladies who were doing baseball, and we went to their stadium, and there's a lot of postings there, and I posted some of the photos, talking about like Dottie Henson, which was portrayed by Gina Davis, Coach Jimmy Dugan, which was, as many of you know, Tom Hanks. So it was kind of neat to go there and just kind of get an idea and a sense of this is where it originated from, this is where the story came from, and it just went from there. In addition, we then headed out. As we started heading out farther west, we stopped at the Field of Dreams. Kevin Costner starred in that film, and as many of you know, that's around baseball and Build It They Will Come. Well, that they did, because when we were out there, there was a lot of people. It wasn't overwhelming, but it was a nice, perfect match amount of people to, kind of move through. It was great to see dads and grandpas throwing some, baseball with their kids and playing catch and actually having a semi-type game out on the field. It was just in the cornfields. Anyway, the weather was just beautiful. And then we just kept traveling. We stopped at many places, such as the largest popcorn ball, to, oh my gosh, where else did we go to? We went to so many different places, and different museums and stuff like that. So we've been filming along the way. But one of the main things that we notice is that folks are so nice out there. They're very heavy into their faith, but also too, they're very kind. They're very considerate. They like to strike up conversation and kind of learn where you're from and, what do you do, that kind of thing. Not to be nosy. They don't do it in an intrusive way. And nor when they ask you those questions, do you feel that? There's like no anxiety. There's no stress. It's very relaxing. People can learn something from going out to out west there, Midwest. Definitely recommend it, especially traveling Historic Route 20. That you got to do. It's just, there's so many things to see there. In addition to that, we, got out to Casper, Wyoming, which was kind of surprising to us. We pictured, well, let me back up. So in Iowa and Nebraska, we pictured flat states, all cornfield, nothing to do out there. Nope, quite the opposite. There was a lot of that, but in Iowa, there was a lot of places to go to, a lot of these cool little Western type villages that, and by the way, it was very hot. It was 106 degrees in both Iowa and Nebraska for a few days. So made it very difficult, especially when we got ice cream. It didn't last more than a few minutes. But anyways, those two states actually were very beautiful. They're all beautiful, but Iowa and Nebraska had some rolling green hills to it as soon as you cross the border. And yes, there was cornfields, a lot of beef out there. Oh my gosh. There's milk and cream farms, obviously, with milk cows, and there's the dairy cows, and then there's the beef cows. I mean, the one area we went to in Nebraska, there was two on both sides of the highway, quite a distance from each other. It's not like they were next door to each other. There had to been at least 10 to 15 15,000, 10 to 15,000 cattle out there. Oh, it's just, I'm like, wow, that's just incredible. The operations are huge out there. There are a couple oil refineries too as you start moving towards Casper, Wyoming more. So then when we arrived in Casper, and again, like I said, we stopped at many sites along the way. When we went to Casper, we're pulling in, and I said, my wife and I both looked at each other and said, this is not what we expected. Another place, Casper, Wyoming, we anticipated that to be a smaller city, but it wasn't a metropolis, but at the same time, it was very close. It was a very sprawling city. It was very busy. Many interstates coming into one another here. There's buildings all over the place and all that. And we're like, wow. But again, the people were very nice there. We were just welcome. Now, we stayed, with the exception of our last hotel on a return trip, we stayed all at Hilton's. I'm a Hilton's Gold member for the traveling, so we used a lot of points along the way, and then we regained a lot of those points for future travel, which I'll get to in a little bit. But every hotel we went to, most of them were Hamptons. We stayed at 2 Hilton Gardens, but the Hamptons were actually beautiful, and the Hiltons too. They're just very clean, very organized. I definitely enjoyed it. Burr Ridge, outside of Chicago there, so Burr Ridge, Illinois, the best beds. Oh my gosh, it was like sleeping on a cloud, but yet firm enough that you didn't, get sucked into the thing. So that was definitely worth it. So anyways, they're all very clean. I have a video coming out too that talks about how your coffee maker in your room, run water through it twice, not making coffee, just run it through there, because you'd be surprised a lot of junk that comes out of that in the water is not as clean. It doesn't mean they're not cleaning it. What happens is just over time, the balance of coffee sits in there and it just sits in a reservoir and it doesn't do anything. And if someone doesn't use it for a while, it just sits there and it sits there. So you want to run that water a couple times before you run a cup of coffee, before you want to have any. So anyways, we kept moving through. We went from Casper, Wyoming, again, great place. Went to a couple restaurants out there. Beautiful, delicious food. It's incredible. And then we went down into Aspen, where we stayed one night, and we did some filming at the John Denver Sanctuary. Now, the John Denver Sanctuary, I was really surprised with. It's very beautiful. Don't get me wrong. Aspen itself, crazy busy. Crazy busy. It is a city that is on steroids. I mean, it is difficult to park. People pretty much keep to themselves. There are a couple rude people, doesn't surprise me. More congestion you get, how that seems to become more apparent. But Aspen still is built, it's right in the mountains. I believe it's around 8,000 or 9,000 feet above sea level elevation. Don't quote me on it. I'd have to look that back up, but I think it's somewhere on there. Anyway, so it's right. The sanctuary, the John Denver Sanctuary, is right in the middle of a city park. That I was not too happy with. It's a very beautiful sanctuary, but I was a little bit upset that sanctuary, when you hear the term sanctuary, it should be peaceful, tranquil, quiet. Not at all. Right in the middle of a city park. There's a soccer field right there. There's a lot of people visiting. So it's noisy. People weren't being rude, not at all. People weren't being rude at all. It was noisy. So I guess when you go to a sanctuary, you want more peacefulness. You want more of a tranquil serenity and be able to escape. And it was very difficult to do that. However, the gardens themselves were absolutely beautiful. Running streams. John Denver's music is on many of the stones there. Different quotes. Whether it was from John Denver or Helen Keller, there's a few things there. So it was very nice that way. And the temperature there was decent because we got there early enough that we didn't have the 100 degree plus temperatures that came later on that day. So then we went down to Denver. In Denver, we stayed outside of Denver. We would not stay in the city of Denver. So in actuality, we stayed in a town called Littleton, Colorado, which is a little bit of a distance from the city of Denver, because we went to a Christian concert out there at the Red Rocks Red Rocks Amphitheater, and what a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful theater venue that is. You're up in the mountains, you're up pretty high, just beautiful. Now there was a thunderstorm right in the middle of one of the guys' songs. I believe it was Andrew Ripp, and he was on his last song, and he was ready to sing. This was like his debut at that venue, and he couldn't sing the last song because all of a sudden here comes a lightning bolt, and there's another lightning bolt. So they're like, all right, time out. We're going to take a station break here. So we took shelter underneath a concession stand. It was kind of funny. We got about 60 to 70 people crammed in underneath this rock at a concession stand, but nobody was rude. Everybody enjoyed it. Everybody was kind of making jokes about it. And every time lightning hit, everybody would get their phones out and try to capture some of it. But everybody is so kind there. We just really enjoyed everybody's company. About an hour, a little over an hour, actually about an hour and 15 minutes really, we were able to go back out there. Everything cleared up, and we went home. And then coming back, we had a great trip on the way back. We used a lot of the interstate because we had to make up some time, and then we picked up Route 20 again in Des Moines, Iowa, and did some more filming on historic Route 20 of the things that we missed along the way, because as we're traveling, there's so much to do out there, so we're trying to capture the essence of so many things. So when we came back through, that's where we managed to grab some more. I'm so sorry. One of the things I want to tell you is let's go back. While we were in outside of Denver, there in Littleton, we took a ride before that concert. We took a ride up to Rocky Mountain National Park. What a beautiful national park this is. Oh my gosh. Now, how much wildlife do you think we saw there? Zero. However, the beauty of the mountains, the crispness of the air, the freshness of the air. I was taking photos in snow was 10 feet from me. I couldn't go down there and touch it, only because it was a straight drop down and there was nowhere to actually walk or come back up. So I did photograph it and I posted it there. It was one of my coffee things with Fogbusters. So we did that. The ride, you could drive through it. What a great, beautiful way of just relaxation, just enjoying, and the peacefulness and everything else. It's a whole different world up there. Now, we traveled about almost 3 miles up in the air. We were high, and that's where the snow was. So it wasn't snowing, but the temperature up there was around, I think, 50, 55. It was a little bit warmer because the sun was out, and we weren't as soon as you went into the shadowed area, the shaded area, though, it got cold fast. So you could tell the temperature up there is it fluctuates quite a bit. And then we were down in the valley was about 89 degrees. And so it was kind of, what a strong contrast in temperature. So anyways, it was beautiful. So we traveled back, got to Des Moines, Iowa, hit Route 20 all the way back to Cleveland, and stayed at a Holiday Inn right at the Cleveland Clinic. And many of you know Cleveland Clinic is near and dear to me because that's where I had my open heart surgery, and that's where I got my second lease on life. And what a beautiful facility that is. I have a whole separate segment from the movie, from the documentary, just on Cleveland Clinic. So, but we stayed at the Holiday Inn. That Holiday Inn by far was the best hotel out of all of them. They were all good. Don't get me wrong. They were all great. But that specific Holiday Inn was absolutely beautiful. We got in there about midnight. The room, it's all brand, like almost brand new. It just, so great. So got a great night's sleep, woke up, went and had a nice breakfast right outside of Cleveland there, and then headed back to Buffalo. So now, where does this lead us to the next trip? Well, the next phase is Buffalo to Boston, Massachusetts. We're going to do that one in about mid-September, and got a lot to bring you there too. So I'm going to be posting different things about not just our trip that we just took, but also to what phase 2 is going to be. And then phase 3 is July of 2025. And we're going to be spending a week itself, if not a little bit longer. In Yellowstone National Park, we're staying at the Old Faithful Inn, so it's going to give us that opportunity to be right up in the mountains to see all the beauty that that has to offer. And oh my gosh, folks, just what an opportunity. When I, as I'm posting this and stuff like that, we're also creating travel tips, some travel blogs, stuff like that for you to look at. It's all free stuff, but it's all for you to download and all that stuff. I'll have it up probably in the next couple of weeks. And it just helps you with budgets and planning and scheduling and sites to see and stuff, so on and so forth. Take advantage of it. It's going to be free on our website. Don't go pay something for it. We have it right there. Just, you'll be able to click on it, download it, PDF file, print it, and you're good to go, or you'll be able to send it to your phone. So, wow, there's so much going on. So we're working on that. In addition to editing the film and getting all the other stuff ready, we are in the next trips and schedule of film. We're going to be resuming our filming too with women with Lyme disease, the story of Martha Conan. That's going to resume in September as well. And that's going to take us September, October, November. And then from there, we're also going to be filming in Vermont. Wow. All the New England states we're going to be hitting, from upper Adirondacks and the upper part of New York there, like Lake Placid area, Adirondack Mountains, and then we're going to venture off into Vermont and then into Maine. Those 3 states we're going to be covering from basically September all the way through to December, and capturing the essence of the New England states as the seasons change and all the stuff comes out. The leaves, the crispness, the coffees, the ciders, the cider donuts, to everything. Wow. Be on the lookout for that. We're so blessed to have this opportunity to do this filming. And from there, then we're going to take a short break during the winter. We'll do a few filming things there and then start right back up in the springtime to start again with Route 20, but also to get time summer comes, July 2025, we're going to be filming the phase 3 of Historic Route 20 from Wyoming, Casper, Wyoming, all the way into Newport, Oregon. So there's also Centennial. There's a lot of information I'm throwing at you right now. There's a Centennial coming up. It's the American Highways in 2026, I believe it is. And we're Route 20 and Route 66, they intersect together. We're working on a joint film here that's going to really bring those 2 highways together in a Centennial type way. So very excited for that. Folks, I know I threw a lot at you. There's a lot going on, but I'm glad you stuck with me to watch this video and really pull some stuff out. I know we're about 19 minutes in here, so I'm going to let you go, but thank you so very much for all your continued support, your love, and your kindness. It means a lot to us. So remember, your journey starts here at the Essence of Travel Discoveries. We'll talk to you soon. Have a blessed day.